Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session on soft skills and interpersonal communication with me Waheeda, Assistant Professor at the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. In today's session, we are going to talk about non-verbal communication. It is believed that more than 80% of our conversation is non-verbal. Whatever the rest 15 to 20% of our communication is, it is accompanied by non-verbal gestures. Only 7% of our communication is verbal. So, in trying to accumulate the facts as to how much body language one must be using and appropriate body language to the situation, and also the regulators and gestures, postures, emblems that comprise of this non-verbal communication, we are going to discuss in detail about it in today's session. So let's get started. We spoke about the significance of speaking skills in the earlier session and essentials, how much of essentialities that we have when we are speaking, and what kind of barriers that we come across during our talks, and effectiveness of speaking. How can we make our speech effective by using some techniques and all. In this session, we are going to talk about verbal and non-verbal communication. So, non-verbal communication. Our communication skills are influenced by the culture we have been socialized in. They are strongly affected by a person's values, beliefs, and attitudes. Every person communicates verbally and non-verbally. As the picture suggests, when we are speaking and someone is listening, we are using verbal cues. And when we are making non-verbal communication, when we are shaking our hands, facial expressions, movement of the body, posture, facial expressions, movement of the head, movement of eyes, all these comprise of non-verbal communication. It is a this verbal communication, we are going to deal with that in short, is a type of oral communication wherein the message is transmitted through the spoken words, the one we use our vocal cords to speak up. Here the sender gives words to his or her feelings, thoughts, ideas and opinions, and expresses them in the form of speeches, discussions and presentations, etc. And as the picture suggests, there is one-to-one talk going on, or if it is a formal gathering, formal presentation, then also a person is communicating through verbal language. The effectiveness of the verbal communication and depends on the tone of the speaker. Very important aspect, how one uses the tone, intonation, the rising of the voice, the falling of the voice, the rising, falling and falling, rising, and the neutral voice of the speaker. And clarity of speech is very important. If you are talking to somebody and they are not able to understand what is that you are speaking, then the whole purpose is lost. That's why we must have clarity of speech. The way that you speak should be very clear, even in pronunciation, and also when you are uttering something, uttering the words. It depends, because how you learned it, how you learned the language, the volume that you use, the speed of words when you are pronouncing the words, how much of speed that you are using, body language, and the quality of words used in the conversation. It shows that how much of vocabulary that you have. In earlier lecture also we discussed about the types of vocabulary that we have, the vocabulary that we listen to people. It is a vast kind of a vocabulary where we are coming across so many people and they have their own sets of vocabulary, and it is vast. And then we have our vocabulary, the words that we use in our own conversation, that is our own vocabulary of speech. Then again comes the reading vocabulary. When you are reading something, a lot of words we come across on a daily basis, and some meaning we know and the others we do not know. So for the words that we have found out the meanings, then those vocabulary can be considered as our reading vocabulary. And the words or the vocabulary that we use in our writing daily, on a daily basis, like it is not the same as our speaking vocabulary. Our speaking vocabulary in our writing vocabulary is different from each other, uh, because we use a different kind of a style. It is not conversational. Speech is something else, and our written script is something else. So there is a difference between that. So the success of the verbal communication depends not only on the speaking ability of an individual, but also depends on the listening skills. The What you listen, you speak, and what you speak, other people listen, and it goes on vice versa. So how effectively an individual listens to the subject matter decides the effectiveness of the communication. If the receiver is taking it with great interest, if they are listening, they are not hearing that, they are concentrating, they're focused about what they are listening. So, and it is intentional, they want to listen to you. So the verbal communication is applicable in both the formal and informal kind of situations. It could be one to one talk, or it could be one to several people. It could be addressing a small gathering, it could be addressing a large gathering, public speaking, formal presentation, informal talk, informal comment about how you are looking, and things like that. All these things are in applicable in both formal and informal situations. And now we'll deal with non-verbal communication. It includes gestures, facial expressions, and body positions. These are collectively known as body language, as well as unspoken understandings or presuppositions and cultural environmental conditions that may affect any encounter between the people. So how we use the gesture when I'm calling somebody, or I ask you to go, please go away. I'm including that gesture as well as my vocal inflections. I'm using my sound that I'm taking out. So it is accompanied by a gesture. Facial expression. There might be so many emotions that I go throughout my day, or from time to time onwards. So the kind of emotion that a person is going through is expressed on his or her face. So these facial expressions speak a lot about the kind of feelings and emotion a person is going through. And the body position, according uh, to their behavior, or what kind of emotion that they are going through, their body position also. If the person is very sad, they might droop, or they might feel low, and their body might also look squeezed. If a person is happy and blooming with happiness, then the movement might be something different, and it speaks volume about how that person is going through. So this facial expressions speak a lot about the person's feelings and emotions. Importance of verbal communication, why we must speak to anyone. So good verbal communication skills of the employees of an organization foster excellent business relationship with other organization, customers, suppliers, etc. Not only in professional life, but also in our personal life. If we are able to communicate well with our family members, our neighbors, relatives, it will enhance our relationship with them, it will improve our relationship with them, and we share things, and that ultimately shows in our personality, our behavior, and it gives us a lot of happiness that will accumulate, and person will feel confident and relaxed and gratified. Excellent verbal communication is a key to maintaining successful business relationship. I always tell my students, you might be having lot of information about things, about the subject that you are speaking, but you are not, if you are not able to put across your feelings, your thoughts into words, if you are not able to decode and encode the information, it is of no use until it has been communicated. I tell my students that lot of important information has been missed by people who could not communicate their feelings to us, or they could not write it down. Once a wise man was asked which is the richest place in the world. So he said it is the graveyard. He took the person to the graveyard and said lot of information has buried over there, has been buried because they could not share their information. So if a person is not able to express his or her thoughts, that person is not successful neither in their personal life or in their professional life. They could be pregnant with thoughts, they could be pregnant with information, but if they are not able to communicate it well to the effectively to the receivers, then they are not successful. The effective communication causes productivity to increase. How does it benefit? It is very important. If the instructions are given effectively and the listener is listening attentively, then the information has passed on to the receivers in a better manner and they have taken it positively, then it decreases errors and operations to run smoother, because there won't be any misunderstandings between the receiver and the sender, because the sender has forwarded the information in an effective manner, the information is decoded and it is encoded by the receiver, then people will not make mistakes. So lot of resources are saved, lot of time is saved, and then the production or the operation will run smoothly in that way. So how can we acquire better verbal communication? If we have good vocabulary, if our vocabulary is good, if we read more, if we listen more to people, then we will improve our vocabulary. So make it a habit as to minimum 2 words per day. You should find or read something and select 2 words which are difficult for you to understand. Write them down, or note in your notepad, notes in your mobile, or if you maintain any notebook, it would be good for you. Read something, one paragraph at least on a daily basis, and then select at least 2 words per day and find out their meaning. Use those words in sentences of your own so that the word becomes yours. So, and also when you are speaking to somebody, think twice in verbal conversations. When you are having one-to-one talk with anybody, prepare yourself mentally, be attentive. What type of question that is being forwarded towards you, and how you should be intelligently answering it. When you listen carefully, this will you will understand it better. What are the intonations, tone of the voice, what is the speaker trying to ask you, and be mindful. It is also very important. When you are answering something, you should not hurt the sentiments of anybody, or you should not speak something that is not required, or do not speak something which will hurt the sentiments. Think about people's perspective. I always give my students this example. I say, from my point of view it looks 6, and from your point of view it looks 9. So understand people's perspective. Put yourself in the shoes of other people and think, if you speak in this manner, how would they feel? Okay. And then you need to develop your skills. If you are same throughout your college days and throughout your working years, then you will not be getting any promotions, or you will not get hike in your salary, or you will not have success in your career if you do not develop your skills. You should be different person with more skills from last year to this year. So every year you need to learn some new skills to upgrade yourself, not only in your career and also your spiritual and your in your personal life. That will prove great for your development. So and then we need to know effective verbal communication. I spoke to you just now that in earlier years it was considered as only 65% of the conversation was non-verbal and 35 was verbal. But with the introduction of social media and technology into our conversation, this non-verbal percentage has increased to 80 and more than 80, and then the verbal has decreased to around 20 to 15%. So that is very effective. In a formal presentation or in formal communication, you need to know your audience first, who your audience are. That is called audience analysis. Who they are actually, to whom you are going to go and talk. Is it a mixed group of people? Is it school children, or is it college students, scholars, PhD students, professors? Who is it that are those who are going to listen to you? That will have a great clarity on how, what kind of explanation that you will be giving, what kind of concepts, what kind of examples that you will be using to make them understand the concept. You cannot use the same thing for school children and the same thing for professors as well. So you need to know your audience. It is essential part of presentation. Then know your topic. It is very important to know, to have the basic knowledge. If you have not planned or prepared for any presentation, then you have prepared to fail. So that's very important. You need to know the topic and its importance, its truth, everything. Then you need to plan your presentation. Never forget the 4 P's of presentation: planning, preparing, practicing, and the presentation. These are very important aspects that you should always focus on. When you are planning, you need to select the topic and collect the data and accumulate in one place. Then prepare it, edit it several times so that you have the final piece for presentation. There you will even read it several times in this preparation stage. You will read it several times. Then you will record your presentation so that you know where you are missing out on something, and you observing your body language and also your voice modulation and stress on certain words, proper pronunciation is being done or not. All this goes in the practicing stage. In during the practice, you need to stand in front of the mirror and to observe your body language, your facial expression, your posture, gestures that you are using, how effectively you are standing in front of your audience on the podium and speaking. How you are using the podium and the space that is provided, how much of movement that you are taking, all these things. And when you are presenting on the day of presentation, what is it that you should always remember is whether all your PPTs are ready, whether the software and the hardware is compatible to your laptop and things like that. You need to focus a lot. Non-verbal communication, in other words, it is called as NVC, is the non-linguistic transmission of information through visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetic physical channels. As the picture suggests, you can see there are so many pictures that the same person is depicted over there. The person is going through a lot of emotional changes in his, and how his behavior is changing. Body language is a type of non-verbal communication in which physical behavior, as opposed to words, is used to express or convey the information. It means the conscious and unconscious movements and postures by which attitudes and feelings are communicated. If you are humble, you are carrying a smiling face, it talks volumes about what kind of emotion that you are going through. And if you are stamping your feet and you are having frowns on your face, then it shows a different kind of a feeling, how you communicate that. Non-verbal communication is or the body language is again divided into gestures, posture and facial expression. You can see over there what are the gestures. Gestures are emblems, regulators, illustrators, adapters and after effects. Then in posture we have the close and open posture. Closed and open, sometimes closed, sometimes open, and some postures are completely closed body posture, closing your arms and putting your legs crossed, putting your feet crossed also comes under the closed body posture. And then open body posture, open arms, hand movement, and your body is open, you are not folding the hands like this. That shows that you are not interested to talk to the person who is in front of you, things like that. Then we have the facial expression. The different emotions have different facial expressions. If a person is going through a kind of emotion, uh, that facial expression is different. So we'll go into detail and find out what gestures, postures, emblems are. Gesture means a movement of the part of the body, especially a hand or the head, to express an idea or meaning. Like I just now gave you, I asked to come inside or go away from here. Please bring it, or wait for some time. If I want some excuse from anybody, I'll show this expression. Or to express an idea or a meaning, I use the hand gesture, usually head gesture or hand gesture. And it is again divided into four types: emblems, illustrators, regulators and adapters. These are again categorized into four types: emblems, illustrators, regulators and adapters. The emblems are gestures that serve the same function as a word are called emblems. For example, the signals that mean okay, come here, or the hand movement used when hitchhiking. Be aware that while emblems are internationally recognized, others may need to be interpreted in their cultural context. Okay, for some culture, when you are showing this, it means okay, go forward, or it is good for, I accept it. But in some cultures, if you show this, it means that I'm not going to do anything for you. Okay, so we must understand it according to the context. And then we have the emblems. You can see different hand postures. When we are pointing out towards something, we use the finger, and then when we are bringing the four fingers and the thumb together, it shows strength. And this emblem shows that I'm taking an oath, I'm showing this hand to say okay, or something looks good, thumbs down, I'm not going to do that work for you, or it is not good, and thumbs up, it shows it is good or I agree to what it is. Scratch emblem, or something, I'm asking something. Holding hands together, it also shows strength and unity. And then you have this viewing kind of a say. Shh, when I say this, just put my fingers on my lip, it says that please keep quiet. It is. Or if I'm requesting somebody, and the next one is that I'm showing somebody, I'm trying to listen to something, I'm trying to speak something to somebody, and I'm taking the hand, it means that I'm trying to help somebody cross the road or climb down from a hill or something like that. Writing posture, I shake, handshake. How much of strength that you put on when you are shaking shows what kind of emotions that you are going through and how much welcoming you are to the person. Eye movement, they speak a lot. You might be seeing a lot of conversation goes on between, if someone else is there in the house or some relatives are there, or you have something to talk, eyes speak a lot. As you see, illustrators, these are gestures which accompany words to illustrate a verbal message. For example, the common circular movement which accompanies the phrase over and over again, when you do like this over and over again, or nodding the head in a particular direction when saying over there I say, or don't do it, come here, I use my head, then it is called as illustrator. As you can see, the picture is suggesting that you are pointing out towards the notice, or there is some paper information is stuck over there, and how when you show it, see there, this is also called an illustrator. Or when I say, okay, this is that, or when I say it is about me, it is not about you, when I am talking like this is also called as illustrator. Then we have the regulators. These gestures are used to give feedback when conversing. So these regulators include head nods, okay, this, that, or no, yes, or short sounds such as and expressions of interest or boredom, oh no. These are regulators whenever we are using. And the eye movements, as I told you, put it back there or something like that. When you don't want the other person to hear what you are saying, then the conversation with eyes also can be done. Then we have the adapters. Adapters are movements that satisfy personal needs, and they help you adapt to your environment. Adapters may also be behaviors or objects that are manipulated for purpose, like mm, the twirling. Some people have this habit of twirling the hair, or do like this to the hair, scratching their head, or if they don't know something, they just do scratch the head like that. Ear pulling, tapping the pencil when somebody is writing, they use the pencil, they tap the pencil when they are talking to somebody. Drumming one's fingers, adjusting one's clothes. Some people have this habit of adjusting their bells, or if they have some buttons, they tend to just play with that. Or some people play with their jewelry, or they play with the rings in their hand, or meddle with their nails or something. And playing with jewelry also comes under that. Ear pulling, yes. Forehead rubbing, this posture, all this come under the adapters. Then we have the affect display. It's the body movements which reveal our affective or emotional state. These are facial cues, which are the primary way we reveal our feelings non-verbally. uh, Affect displays can be used to influence others. It may also be emotional expressions, and not necessarily symbolic. As the picture suggests, you can see the same person is going through 8 kind of emotions, and the facial expressions on each particular emotion is different. When a person is happy, or sad, or bewildered, surprised, astonished, thinking, and screaming in pain, and things like that. So every emotion has a different kind of a facial expression. Then we have the posture. Postures can reflect emotions, attitudes, and intentions. In another video, I spoke about facts, how people shake their hands, what is in their mind when they do that, or when how they keep their eyebrows, how they bring frowning in their foreheads, all these postures, and how they sit, slouching posture, straight posture. uh, when a person is energetic, happy in mood, that body language is different. So they reflect emotions, attitudes, and intentions of the person. Research has identified a wide range of postural signals and their meanings, such as this. You can see the closed posture. The lady is sitting in a closed posture, and the hands and the legs, both the legs are crossed, and the shoulders are drooping a bit. Unfriendliness, or it shows anxiety, and it also indicates hostility. Then open body posture, it indicates friendliness, openness, and willingness to come to communicate. So it is always advised to have a open body posture whenever you are feeling comfortable. Another picture you can see is of the closed body posture. So someone seated in a closed position might have his or her arms folded, legs crossed, or be positioned at a slight angle from the person with whom they are interacting. If they want to go away from the person that they are interacting, that they are not giving importance, or they do not want to converse with that person. But if the person is bending down towards that, it means that they want to show interest towards talking to them. An open body posture, as the pictures suggest, is an open posture. You might expect to see someone directly facing you with hands apart on their arms of the chair, or an open posture can be used to communicate openness or interest in someone and a readiness to listen, whereas the closed posture might imply discomfort or disinterest. Then we have, I talked to you about the facial expressions are one form of non-verbal communication. A smile can indicate approval or happiness. A frown can signal disapproval or unhappiness. In some cases, our facial expressions may reveal our true feelings. For a particular about a particular situation. Then while we say that you are feeling fine, the look on your face may tell people otherwise. So when you think you need to smile, but something is going on inside you which is not allowing you to smile, that also will people will understand if you are doing that. Then we have a few examples of the emoticons or emotions that display happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, disgust, fear, confusion, excitement, desire, contempt. All these are different kinds of feelings or emotions that a person goes through, and for each particular feeling we have a different type of an emoticon or facial expression. You can see happy, sad, surprised, thinking, angry, confused, embarrassed, and sleepy emoticons. And the kid also shows some 10 different types of emotions in the picture below. So with this, we come to an end of the session on verbal and non-verbal communication. I, Waheeda, sign off.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.